What's happening, everyone? JayShockblast here, and check it out. Bombshells dropping over the MCU. Say it ain't so. Disney and Sony heading for a breakup, and Spider-Man is out of the MCU. These are the rumors that are out and about. Deadline.com kind of kicked things off with their story, talking about it as an exclusive. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige won't produce any further Spider-Man films because of an inability by Disney and Sony Pictures to reach new terms that would have given the former co-financing stake going forward. A dispute that has taken place over the past few months at the top of Disney and Sony has essentially nixed Feige and the future involvement of Marvel from the Spider-Man universe, sources said. So this comes at a moment when the last two films Kevin Feige produced broke all-time records. Disney's Avengers Endgame became the highest-grossing film of all time, and Spider-Man Far From Home this week surpassed the James Bond film Skyfall to become the all-time grossing film for Sony Pictures. So this is all huge, and apparently there was a 95/5% split in the past, with Sony getting 95% of the revenue and 5% going to Disney. And Disney came to them with a co-financing arrangement of 50-50. That's splitting it down the middle. Now, all things considered, I know Sony has made some decent money with Spider-Man in the past, and some of the movies have even been revered. We're thinking of Tobey Maguire's first run. But I don't think there's any dispute in the fact that the best thing that ever happened to Spider-Man was the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Tom Holland. Disney has, they've made Sony so much money with Tom Holland as Spider-Man, featuring him in Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame very prominently. This is huge, and I think Tom Holland is by far and away the best Spider-Man. Now, Deadline may have jumped the gun because since this article has gone up, everybody, all the unnamed sources and insiders seem to be walking it back a little bit and are saying that this may not be as big of a deal as it seems. And that they're still working to get a resolution. And all I have to say is they better be, because it would be an absolute travesty if we were deprived of Tom Holland as Spider-Man in the MCU like we all deserve. I understand there's a lot of money involved and people want to make their money, and that's fine. I get it. But at the end of the day, this is something that needs to get resolved, because I think Sony is going to be the one that takes it on the chin, because the initial response is overwhelmingly in Disney's favor from what I'm seeing. And I'm going to be honest with you, it really does not matter to me if Disney is the bad guy in this. I'm taking their side. I am completely Sony's a bad guy. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing anybody could say that's going to change that. In the short time that this news was out and the stock market was up for the day, they took a little bit of a hit. I'm very interested to see what happens tomorrow, because if this negative press over Spider-Man continues, Sony may be looking at a massive drop tomorrow in their stock price. The ball is in Sony's court. Honestly, there is nobody in this world that can honestly think that a 95-5 split is fair, and maybe 50-50 isn't fair either. Maybe it needs to be 60-40 Sony. Honestly, at the end of the day, Disney also has some responsibility to do whatever it takes to rectify this situation. I don't necessarily look. Disney should want to make their money. All right, it's their character. I know that they had nothing to do with the original deal that allowed Sony to purchase the movie rights of Spider-Man. And Sony has done good things for, the comic book movie universe, if you will. Those original Spider-Man movies were at a time when, comic book movies weren't as huge a deal as they are now. And they really kind of helped pave the way for the MCU to do its thing and really take over the movie world. So I don't care what happens. All these jerk-offs need to sit in a room, fix it, get it right, and keep everything the way it has been. Stop with the egos. Honestly, in my opinion, Sony needs to just shut up, let Marvel do their thing, and just take the money, all right? They're going to make you money. You're going to be looking at billion-dollar Spider-Man movies every time out, because I think we've seen that everything the MCU touches turns to gold. And by all accounts, Kevin Feige wants to make Tom Holland the face of the MCU, the new MCU moving forward. Spider-Man is going to be a huge role, and he is going to be making billion-dollar movies moving forward. Don't mess this up over some percentage of a difference. There's no rational rhyme or reason that Marvel was ever going to go forward at 5% of the difference, okay? That was a great deal for Sony. It was kind of a prove-it deal for Marvel, and I think everybody won, but now it's time to, like, you know, kind of even things up a little bit. Again, Disney, you're making tons of money on your own. You don't need every last penny. I understand you owe it to shareholders. I understand the upper echelon business workings and whatever. That's fine. I get it. But, you know, let's work together. Let's get this right. Think of the fans. We're the ones that take it on the chin, and we shouldn't. And, yeah, I guess I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I think the biggest takeaway from this, though, is to just sit back and breathe. I think that the initial negative reaction where Sony is #1 trending in the world, Spider-Man's #2, Tom Holland is #3, Spidey is #4, Marvel is #5, Peter Parker is #7, Venom is #8. This is all trending worldwide right now as I'm recording this video. I think this has got to be enough to scare everybody involved, and it's very, very, very pro Marvel. It is not pro Sony at all. I would say I'm seeing like 19-1, you know, out of 20. 19 out of 20. 95% to 5% is in Marvel's favor of this, because we've seen what they do with the product. We all know that even though they're going to make some weird choices with character casting, you know, Flash and MJ, if you will, they're odd. I mean, it is what it is, though. In the end, everything is going to work itself out. So, guys, we just need to hope that the cooler heads prevail. Everybody just sit back and make your money. You're going to make tons of it. Just work it out amongst yourselves. Let's get it together and keep Spider-Man in the MCU. And let's just hope that this is all water under the bridge. Because, man, I don't even want to imagine, like, what we're going to do without Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe. It's just awful. It's just, like, I'm not even the biggest Spider-Man fan in the world, per se. But I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think he's perfect. And I honestly feel like, you know, between the video game and between Tom Holland's portrayals, they've really helped me become a little bit more of a Spider-Man fan. And, you know, I've always appreciated the character, don't get me wrong, but, like, he's just never been, like, one of my main characters I'm a fan of. And how awful would it be that now that Marvel has, you know, the X-Men and the Fantastic Four franchises back under their cinematic universe, that we never get to see Spider-Man interact with Wolverine or Human Torch or Deadpool, who he literally has a team-up comic book with that's like 50-plus issues in. I mean, those three characters... Oh, and let's not even forget about Daredevil, another character we haven't seen him interact with that, you know... I mean, I guess they already had Daredevil, but I digress. But, you know, Wolverine and Human Torch and Deadpool, those are three characters that have had tons of classic Spider-Man moments. And, you know, we could potentially never see that if these guys don't get their ish together. I didn't swear. So, yeah, that's the latest as I am recording this video. And, I mean, I'm even scrolling through Twitter right now to see if there's anything even more new. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess. I'm glad that I wasn't near my computer when this story broke, because I think the video would have been a whole lot different, and I probably would have been a lot angrier at Sony. But it seems like everybody is kind of walking this back a little bit, and we'll see what happens. So that's what we got for now. I would love to be telling you better. Yeah, we'll see ya. See ya.